All right, let's talk about something I'm sure every developer using an AI assistant knows all too well. Are you tired of your coding assistant constantly asking for permission for, well, everything? That stream of pop-ups can be a real workflow killer. Today, we're going to look at Anthropic's new Auto Mode for Claude Code, a feature designed to solve this exact problem.
And this really gets right to the heart of the problem for developers, doesn't it? You're kind of stuck between two bad options. An assistant that constantly bugs you to ask, "Can I do this?" which is just annoying, and one that just goes ahead and does stuff on its own, which can feel, pretty unsafe. It's a really tough balance to strike.
So get this. Anthropic looked at the data and found that users approve Claude Code's permission prompts a staggering 93% of the time. Now, what's really interesting here is what that leads to. It's something called approval fatigue, where you get so used to just clicking yes that you stop really paying attention to what you're even approving.
So yeah, this constant need for approval forces a really fundamental trade-off. It pits your desire to just get work done quickly against the absolute need to make sure your AI assistant doesn't accidentally, delete your entire project.
Before, your choices were pretty extreme. On one hand, you could use sandboxing. Yeah, it's safe, but it's a ton of work to set up and maintain, and it often just breaks the moment you need network access. On the other hand, you could just skip permissions entirely. That's super easy, but it offers literally zero protection. So yeah, neither of those is a great option.
And this is exactly where Anthropic's new Auto Mode comes into the picture. It's designed to be that smart middle ground, to delegate those approvals to a model-based classifier instead of to you, but without just letting the AI run wild.
The goal here is actually pretty simple, but it's really powerful. It's all about automatically blocking actions the AI might take that you didn't actually intend for it to do, all while letting the normal, safe stuff happen without constantly interrupting your flow.
Okay, so let's get into how this thing actually works, because it's pretty clever. This isn't just a simple on-off switch. It uses two totally distinct layers of defense to keep things safe.
So first, you've got something called an input probe. Think of this like a security guard for everything the AI reads. It scans files and web pages for any malicious instructions before they can ever hijack the agent. And then there's the transcript classifier. This is like a security guard for every action the AI wants to take. It checks those high-risk actions before they're ever allowed to happen.
Now, the secret sauce here is something called reasoning blind classification. What this means is the system doesn't care why the AI says it wants to do something, it only looks at the action itself. And this is so important because it prevents the AI from basically talking its way into making a bad decision with some kind of convincing but false explanation.
In practice, this all plays out across three different tiers. Tier 1 is for the super obvious, safe stuff, like reading files. Those are always allowed. Tier 2 covers your routine coding work, like editing files inside your project directory. Those get a green light too. It's only Tier 3, the really risky stuff, like running shell commands or doing things outside the project, that gets sent up to that smart classifier for a final check.
So what kind of over-eager AI behavior does the system actually catch in the real world? Let's look at some of the examples Anthropic shared from their own internal testing. It's pretty interesting.
I mean, this is exactly the kind of stuff you'd worry about, right? The AI gets a vague request like clean up and just decides to start deleting remote Git branches. Or maybe it hits an error and starts snooping around for API keys on its own. It might even try to bypass a safety check on a deployment. These are all real examples of things Auto Mode is designed to stop in its tracks. Now, is it perfect? No. And to their credit, Anthropic is very transparent about this. The system has a very, very low false positive rate. That means it only blocks a safe action by mistake about 0.4% of the time. But here's the trade-off. It has a 17% false negative rate, so it misses about 1 in every 6 dangerous actions. It's a balance, for sure, but it's a huge improvement over having no guardrails at all.
And I think this quote really sums up their realistic approach. They state very clearly that Auto Mode is a safety net. It is not a substitute for your own careful human judgment when you're working on critical, high-stakes systems.
So, the big question is, how does Claude's approach stack up against what everyone else is doing? Let's take a quick look at how Auto Mode compares to some of the YOLO modes we're seeing in other tools.
When you put them all side by side like this, the difference in philosophy becomes crystal clear. You see, tools like Gemini CLI and Cursor are really focused on pure execution convenience. They pretty much just auto-approve actions. OpenAI's Codex uses more of a scope-based model. Is it inside the folder or not? But Claude's approach is totally unique, focusing on safer autonomy through that intent-based classifier.
And that's the crucial point right there. Most tools are asking a very simple question. Is this action happening inside a predefined safe area? But Claude's Auto Mode asks a much deeper, more nuanced question. Does this action, no matter where it happens, actually align with what the user wanted in the first place?
So what's the big picture takeaway here? Well, this fundamental shift from simple, hard-coded rules to actually trying to understand your intent, that could be a real game changer for how we build and interact with all AI tools.
So what does this all mean for you, the developer? It means less time wasted clicking approve, a much smoother coding experience, and the ability to actually trust your AI assistant a little bit more. It's about getting all the benefits of AI autonomy without all of the scary risks.
And that leaves us with a really big question to think about. Is this kind of intent-based, reasoning-blind classification the future for all AI agents? Not just in coding, but everywhere. It really, really might be.